how do we deal with objections and how do we overcome them? And the first thing you have to understand is there's always going to be objections. It doesn't matter what you were pitching, what you were selling. People always have objections. Honestly, it's human nature. So instead of acting like I don't know what's coming, if you're prepared for it and you know the answer to the objections, it's literally like taking a test that you already know the answers to. So some people like to learn it on the job. Some people like to prepare. I suggest you take this lesson and work with us and we prepare together for you. So today we're talking all about motivated sellers' objections, how to identify them, and most importantly, how to overcome them. Okay. All objections come down to this. 5 things all objections come down to. You ready? I can classify every objection. We'll go through it. If you guys want to go over it on the lives today, they all boil down to a framing. Okay. So any objection you get, and really when it comes to wholesaling real estate, you're going to come up with 5. And I'm going to break them down and classify them. Guys, I have tens of thousands of hours in this area. I've never found an objection that really goes outside this. You ready? Okay. Price, authority, timing, qualifying, and third party. Okay. Guys, don't worry. This is live and it's recorded. So you don't have to like step all over yourself to take notes here. So you can go back and replay it. So number 1, price. That's obvious. When people, I got price is too high, too low, whatever. Okay. Authority. Is the person you're dealing with have the authority to enter into an agreement? A lot of times we talk to the wrong person, or you're talking to the agent or something like that. You always got to make sure you get the authoritative part down, because if you don't, it's hard to put a deal together. The next one is timing. Oh God, Rick, I'm not ready right now, or I need another 3 months. I need 6 months. Can you wait another week? Can you wait 2 weeks? Okay. Timing is a huge one. This next one is one that you guys really, really struggle with. And I'm going to teach you today specifically how to overcome it. Qualifying. Rick, how are you qualified to buy my house? Now, especially if you've never bought a house before, this one can be perplexing. I'm going to teach you how to navigate it through. And the last one is one of my favorite ones, the third party. Okay. The third party is anyone other than the seller when they come up with an excuse. My attorney needs to review it. My wife needs to look at it. My daughter needs to look at it. My cat needs to look at it. My real estate agent needs to look at it. Okay. The problem with third party is they push it off to another party, and it's hard for you to verify if that's the truth or not. I'm going to teach you how to overcome that as well. So let's just jump in. I put up some raw questions here. Actually, I had somebody else put these in here, so I wouldn't be prepared for it. So I'm going to overcome these objections just as you see them pop up. So if I look surprised, let's just go with it and have fun with it, because this is how objections come. Somebody stumps you and you go, oh my God. Here's a little key. If you don't know how to overcome someone's objection, rule number 1 is do not lie to them, because it digs you in a deeper hole. A lot of you guys think it bails you out. It doesn't. It makes it 10 times worse. So, oh God, here we go. I'm nervous. Let's go. No, I'm not. I've heard all these. Is a good one. So can I see your proof of funds? So give me a comments and thumbs up if you guys ever have gotten this one. If it really sticks to you and it's like, man, what do I do? The easiest way to overcome this one is, guys, you should have multiple options to handle this one. So the first one I teach you when you get started in wholesaling, lock in your proof of funds first together. Find out your own bank qualifications, what your credit rating is, and work on it if you're not qualified. Some of you are already qualified to buy a home. You don't even know it. Okay. Remember, it's just a qualification piece. When I started, I had an okay credit rating and I could probably get a traditional loan at the bank. That's how I qualified my deals. Then I converted them over to cash. Now, most of you don't have that. That's fine. Okay. It doesn't matter. Okay. The money is in finding the deal. So if you get hit with this question and you are not prepared for it, just say, listen, I work with several partners. I'd be happy to provide them the proof of funds. Where would you like me to send it to you? Okay. And then if you are working with cash buyers and you are constantly asking for proof of funds, you should have an entire file full of these things, guys. Remember, you are assigning the contract. Your authority is in selling it to your cash buyer. So why not use your cash buyer's proof of funds? If not using that, guys, get relationships with hard money lenders. They're a pain in the butt. Learn how to raise soft funds, friends and family. It's really, really easy. Or you can use transactional funding. I'm not going to go into depth in every one of those. If you guys want to learn more how to do that, go over to freewholesaling.com, and I will put it up here for you, and you can learn how to do all that. Let me put it on a banner so it doesn't distract us while we're going. So guys, if you're new to this channel, I welcome you. Once again, my name is Rick. We're here to teach you everything about wholesaling. Go to freewholesaling.com. You can learn everything you want to know about wholesaling from start to finish, the most thorough course available today. And I promise you there's no upgrades. And me and my son go live 6 days a week to teach you how to make this business work. So proof of funds, it's a big one, guys. And you need to know how to overcome it. And the key to overcoming it is returning an answer confidently. How do you return an answer confidently? Is you practice, okay? Eventually, you will have so many appointments, so many seller appointments that the repetition will build the muscle. But in the beginning, the only way to build that muscle is you actually have to go out and practice what you're saying to sellers, okay? So, next one. So who is this and what do you want? So somewhat of an authority, like who are you? And guys, remember, instead of building up that big, bad corporate image on it, go, listen, my name is Rick. I like to buy houses in your area. Are you interested in selling your home? You're always going to just qualify. I'm a regular Joe. You might as well give them your name because they probably have it anyways. And if you act humble and appreciative, but confident, you can easily overcome this objection. Okay. When they ask, what do you want? You got to give them what's in it for them statement on that. Let me get rid of this. Why is that popping up there? Okay. So that's more of an authority type of deal. And honestly, if you just answer it systematically, who is this? Answer the first part. Give them your name. Remember, if you break this down on like 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade speaking, it's much easier to communicate with your sellers. And that's how they like to receive the information. Remember, if you talk over your seller's head, you get discredited immediately. Okay. I would, Rick, but where would I move to? Okay. This is a timing. Okay. You guys have to find out the timing. Remember, a lot of times in wholesaling, they are just not ready to sell the house right now. And that's okay. But you've got to put them in your follow-up and keep up with them. So the biggest way to qualify when people go on this, Mr. Seller, when ideally is it you'd like to move then? And just get their honest answer. I love 30, maybe 60 days. But when I hear 90 and 180 days, I have to explore, see what's going on and see how we can help them out. And remember, you can still enter the contract and lock it up. And then you have to keep up with religious follow-up every week, if not every other week on someone that is 90 days out. Guys, timing is a huge one. Some people just are not ready. How do you know this? When you go to qualifying and you ask about time frame, this is where you're going to find out. If you don't do this, you're going to find out when you when you go on your appointment. But timing's a big one. It's probably one of the biggest ones that comes up in our company, but you guys kind of let me know on this. Okay. I love the surprises here. How much are you offering me, Rick? This is where you have to counter back to him and you have to come back with a logical answer. How much are you offering is a way to say, listen, Rick, shut your mouth. Just give me a price. I don't want to hear your speech. Okay. If you guys do this and you take this bait, you are no longer a wholesaler. You might as well go over to McDonald's and be an order taker because all you are is taking orders. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is reframe the conversation and take control. And then I'm going to ask permission to move forward. So, hey, Rick, how much are you offering? And usually they're very aggressive at this point. And usually it's in the first minute I get in my presentation. Hey, listen, John, I get it. I know you want the best price for your house and you're eager to get to it. But listen, have you ever bought a car you've never test drove? No. Okay. Well, you can't ask me to do the same. Do me a favor. If you can just give me like 10, 15 minutes to ask you some questions about your situation in your house. And if you give me that time, I can structure probably the best offer for you. Is that fair? Do you mind if I ask you a few questions? That's it. If you fall for this, how much you offering, and you say 150,000, Next. In the perfect world, we would love everyone just to give us a price, make sure they're solid, and have them get out of the way, and then shop it with 10 other people. If you give your price immediately like this, like I just showed you, you are no longer a wholesaler, and they're going to treat you like a bid, and then they're just going to shop it around. Guys, do not fall for this. Check them. Give them the driving car situation, and then ask for permission to ask qualifying questions and just come back. Okay? Oh, here's a good one. Rick, dude, the price is too low. Okay? I'm going to go straight into the volley method on that. Okay, well, John, listen, what do you need to get out of the property? Well, Rick, I just told you a number. John, really, what do you need to get out of it? If that's too low, tell me what is going to work for you. And then this is where you start working it back and forth with them. Listen, you have to fully expect people to reject your offer. Our goal is to have them say no. So when they say no, you have to have a systematic approach to counter them. If you sit there and you just go, you're going to lose that confidence muscle, and they're going to doubt you have the ability to cover it. So when I throw out a price, say, listen, Mr. Seller, I can give you everything I got. Basically we could offer you $85,000. Now, I don't like to use the word offer at all. And they go, oh no, Rick, that price is too low. Okay, well, John, listen, tell me what number needs to work for you to get rid of this property. And I'm going to use those person. Well, I talked over my wife. We can't do anything less than like 90, 95,000. So immediately I'm going to go to 90. I go, listen, I was at 80. You're at 90. I go, what if we did like 83,000? I get it done. I'll pay the closing costs to move forward. The idea is when somebody asks for something, you always have to counter. If you just give in, even if you're okay giving in, you have to find a reason to compromise with people. Remember, so if he came back and said, Rick, I just need 90, and I go, okay. Honestly, he's going to think he probably can get more from me, and this conversation is probably going to continue. So even if I'm going to take 90, I'm going to go back and find a way to go. Even if I okay taking that, I go, listen, I will do the 90 if you can close in X amount of time. So maybe I already got a buyer lined up, and the guy goes, listen, I'm going to close this week. I'll do 90 if you can close it in 10 days. Okay. So this is going to obviously fall into the price category. Do you guys see how the classification works here? If you know there's only 5 objections in all of wholesaling, all you have to do is learn to classify them, and then you practice with all 5 areas. And once you master it, there's nothing a seller can throw at you to really throw you off base. Okay. Now, you're going to have several comebacks in each category. You just have to learn how to classify them. I'm moving through this thoroughly. I want to talk to you guys. So, okay. I have to speak to my spouse. Guys, which one is that? Third party. Okay. Now, here's the catch with this. Sometimes they're telling the truth. Sometimes they're not telling the truth. Your job is to figure that out. How do you tell if they're telling the truth? Consistently keep probing. People that lie cannot keep their lies straight, and they'll eventually be caught in their lies. If they're telling the truth, it should make 100% common sense. Okay. I have to speak to my wife. Great. When can we connect with your wife so you guys can make a decision as a family that's best for you? Okay. Don't ever discredit the spouse, whatever it is. Now it could be spouse, realtor, lawyer, aunt, uncle, cat. You have to acknowledge it and then give a time frame to respond to it. Okay. Third party is a pain in the butt. And honestly, this is where you wind up in the maybe land. Okay. So understand the third party. I'm going to tell you guys at the end how to avoid a lot of these issues. Okay. You guys, I might as well say, Zillow says it's worth X. My realtor says it's worth X. Okay. The word worth and what people will buy it for is so misunderstood. Okay. If you guys have ever had to compete with a realtor, say you're trying to buy a property at 200 and they go, listen, I get you 259 for that. Okay. Now, I learned as I got older, running the realtor over with your seller doesn't get you any brownie points, and it actually makes you look like the enemy. So I'm going to politely discredit the realtor. Say, great. So the realtor is going to buy it for $259,000 and you're going to get that in your bank account. That's a great deal. Go for it. Okay. Is it a bit sarcastic? Yes. But the reality is she could go, no, no, no. The realtor said they would list it for that. Okay. Well, I thought you wanted to sell your house. And Jen, remember when you called me, you said you wanted to get the house sold. You didn't want anybody walking through. It sounded like you didn't want a realtor to be involved, but now we're talking about compared to realtor pricing. You have to go through inspections, appraisals, the whole 9 yards. Which one is it that you want to do? And I'm going to go back to, remember, realtors are just listing it to it and go, listen, at the end of the day, if I buy it for 200, they list it at 259. What are you going to net? And hold on one second. You can tell it's live. There's somebody at the door there. So I kind of get into it. Why did you contact me in the first place? If you didn't want to deal with a realtor, then this should have been, this is why we're talking with it. So understanding that in the beginning, for full disclosure, I used to run the realtor under the bus. It actually will blow up in your face if you do that. Don't do that. Speak positively. Remember, the realtor is just listing it. The dirty little secret with realtors, when they get hot and heated and I have realtors standing in front of me, and I've had this before, just say, great. Then if the realtors, are you confident you get 259? Absolutely. So here's what I recommend, because I want this to work out for you. Go ahead and list it with the realtor for 259. They said they're very confident, and I would do a 30-day listing and you should have no problems. Immediately the realtor will backpedal every time. Oh, no, wait. I didn't say 30 days. You just said you're confident 30 days. I'm looking to get her deal done in less than 30 days. So why do you need more than 30 days if 259 is the price? So what you do is you anchor that price on them. And if it doesn't work out in 30 days, they come back to you. You've got to leave that bridge open. How do you do that? Don't run the realtor under the bus, even though every bone in your body tells you to do it. It doesn't work. I've tried it, guys. I'm telling you, as bad as you want to do it, and there are some really bad realtors out there, there's very good realtors too. But the bad ones, they get really negative and it makes you look bad. So you have to take the high road on it. Guys, we are considered like the bottom feeders. We are the dangerous people in this business. We're the ones that go out and solve more problems that people can't solve. And that's why we're paid the most money. Okay. I don't walk around in a suit and a tie and be all pretty and kiss like sellers, but I help people who need to sell houses. Okay. Let's keep moving here. Next one. I need to speak to my attorney. Third party, right? Third party. Now, I will tell you this. A big percentage of wholesalers I go, I won't deal with an attorney. I'm never going to deal with an attorney. I take the opposite approach. You know what? I think that's a great idea. I think you should involve your attorney. Okay. Keep in mind, whatever state you're in. And so in Florida, we don't require an attorney. I said, just to let you know, in the state of Florida, you are not required to have an attorney. I'm buying your house for $200,000. I'm paying the closing cost. You have no mortgage. So once we run the title search, if nothing else comes back, you should net close to $200,000. But if you need an attorney to review that for you, I'm perfectly fine doing that. Okay. In my experience, most attorneys do not review these contracts. 9 times out of 10, it is 100% a bluff. Go ahead and call them on it. It's much easier. Another little trick with the attorney, because they hate back and forth paperwork, send them a contract with your company name on the top, or however you're going to buy it, the seller's name, put the address on there, leave the price blank. Attorneys want to go through the legal jargon paperwork. It's not their job to discuss the price. So I'll send them a blank contract. I don't want them to shop my contract. That's why I don't like sending it all out there. And when they go, listen, I need to speak to my attorney, the easiest way to overcome this objection is, great. What's your attorney's name? Well, I haven't quite. Wait, don't insult them. Once they know that you're asking them specifics. So people that are using an attorney, by the way, 98% of Americans do not deal with attorneys on a regular basis. So if you call me and say, hey, Rick, I need your attorney, I go, oh, it's over there. It's Plymouth. Here's the address. Here's the guy's phone number. I'll give it to you right away. I'll give you one of my 3 attorneys. Like, if I don't have an attorney, what am I going to do? I'm like, well, I don't, I got to shop it around and look around. They're not going to give it to an attorney. They're going to give it to a friend or like a colleague or something like that to see if you are willing to work with them, and for this reason, you should just go, hey, I'm going to go ahead and do it. Okay. I'm going to go over to the last section, which is overcoming objections from cash buyers, and then we're going to jump on these lives. Okay. This is going to be really fun. By the way, all the 5 categories I've given you, if you want to head them all off and kill them at the bud before they start, make sure you're having your upfront agreement. If you don't know how to do that, go over to freewholesaling.com. I'll show you how to do like the whole thing. The upfront agreement is basically telling people they have to give a yes or no decision, and it is a requirement. So don't forget about that. The upfront agreement solves a lot of these problems. Okay. So cash buyer objections. This is going to be really easy. So your cash buyer goes, we need to use my title company. The answer is no. It's no. I'm not overcoming this objection. It's no. Use my title company or go find someone another deal. You guys cannot negotiate on this one. It will wreck your deal. Whenever I've not used my title company, it's like a 70% failure ratio. Why? Because I'd like to tell you title companies are neutral. They're not. Whoever picks the title company has the home field advantage. It's just the truth, guys. If you give it to their title company, they will play so many games with you, they're going to drive you nuts. Okay. Can we use my title company, Rick? Absolutely no. Hey, Rick, your assignment fee is too much. Bye-bye. I don't negotiate my assignment fee. Take it or lose it, and you're going to regret it if you don't take it. If people want to bid it up, I'll be fair and I won't make it a scene, but I'm never going to just give it away. Okay. Here's one of my other favorites. I don't disclose private information, proof of funds on properties owned. Bye-bye. See you later. I'm done with you. Okay. Hey, Rick, that's too much EMD for a cash buyer. Okay. Well, go find someone else. I'm sure you can find another deal. Guys, do not negotiate with cash buyers on the terms. Should you treat cash buyers with respect? Should you build rapport with them? Yes. So many people, a certain industry in wholesaling taught you to be brutally on cash buyers. Be brutal on the qualification process, but once somebody passes the mustard test, be nice to them. Like don't let them run you over, but they're not going to let you run you over. And I promise you in the next year and a half, they're going to remind you of this. So when people told you cash buyers are a dime a dozen, you have to do that. It worked from 2013 to right about now. It's not going to go working forward. So go through the qualification process. Don't negotiate on it. And when they qualify, then give them the time they want. If you got to go meet them for a cup of coffee or do something like that, you can do that, but just be respectful because they have a lot of options on there. So, guys, that's it. So, remember, I just understand this. I'm going to put this slide back up. There's only 5 things all objections come down to from sellers. Okay. Price, authority, timing, qualifying, and third party. Once you classify that objection, you can now prepare for it and overcome it. What you should do is take the objections I put up on the screen here. You go back on the replay and practice them. And by the way, there's like 10 or 15 ways you can come back on every objection. What you need to do is start building your one-liner comebacks on them. And then as you progress, you can build your objection bank. Mine's so thick and so long, it's ridiculous. So I like to break it down to classifications so you guys can easily identify. So when you guys have an objection, especially we're doing the lives today, tell me what class your objection comes into, and then we'll figure out how to overcome it. So that's it. We're going to jump on the lives. If you have any questions, put in here. If you guys want to go on the link, go over to Wholesaling Houses for Real. It's in there. I promise you, just follow the directions.